what is the difference between open source and commercial? Guys, yeah. And Linux, what is the diff between GUI and CLI? So, what is open source and what is commercial? What is the difference between open source and commercial? So, what is open source, guys? Open source is nothing but here we need to cover 2 points. So, one is a free of cost. What is that, guys? So, free of cost and source code also available. What is that, guys? Source code also available. If you have the source code, okay. If you have the source code, it will be easy to. So you have a source code, right? For example, you have a Facebook code, so it will be easy to modify, right? So wherever the Facebook is, right, in that code, I modified, I replaced as a book face, and then I released as a website called it as a book face. The same like as a, if you have the code, right, it will be easy to create. It will be easy to create your own voices also based on that voice, right? Yeah, very good. So it is as a open source, commercial. All the Windows operating systems are commercial, guys. So commercial is nothing but if you want to use that OS before we can purchase the license. So if you want to use that OS before we want to purchase the Linux, then only we can use the Windows operating system. So Linux is a open source. Open source is nothing but a free of cost and source code also available. Source code also available. What is the difference between GUI and CLI? What is GUI, guys? What is GUI?
Graphical user interface.
Very good. So graphical user interface. All the Windows operating systems are graphical user interface. The OS is built up with the images, something like a minimize, maximize, right? The OS is built up with the images. So it took something like more space, more storage to install the OS. So what is CLI? CLI is nothing but a command line interface. So Windows is the GUI interface. So Linux is the command line interface. Linux is the command line interface, CLI. Okay, guys, understood? So Linux is a CLI. Linux is the popular for CLI. So why Linux is popular? Linux is portable. What is that? So Linux is the portable and it's a CLI and highly secure. So what is that, guys? It's a portable. If you want to install the Linux OS, just we need at least we need a minimum of 8 GB is enough to install the Linux OS. And it's a CLI. CLI means command line interface and it's highly secure. Okay. All the real-time applications, whenever you are seeing in the browser, right? That websites will be deployed under the most of the 90% websites will be deployed under the Linux only. Deployed under the Linux only. Websites so hosted under the Linux only because of it's a portable open source. It's a open source portable and CLI and highly secure. It's a highly secure. Okay. It's a open source. What is that, guys? It's a open source, portable, CLI, and highly secure. Yes, I understood. So, what is the difference between open source and CLI? So, open source and GUI. GUI Windows products are open source and commercial. So, all Windows products are a GUI, and the Linux is a CLI. Linux is a CLI. Guys, understood? Yeah. No. So now you understood the Linux. Now you understood the Linux. So Linux, Linus Torvald released as a Linus Torvald released as a open source. Open source. So open source means So everyone can took that source code and created, they customized their own OS and released as a Linux OS. So for example, IBM company. Which company, guys? IBM company took that source code. IBM company took that source code and created their own OS, call it as a AX Linux OS. What is that, guys? AX Linux OS. And HP company. What is that? HP company took that source code and created their own OS called as a UX Linux OS. What is that, guys? UX Linux OS. Sun Microsystems. Who is that? Sun Micro. So Sun Microsystems. So Sun Microsystems took that source code and created their own OS called as a Solaris. Solaris Linux. Solaris Linux OS. Okay, the same way Oracle company also took that source code and created their own OS called as a Oracle Linux. Oracle Linux OS. The same way Amazon. What is that, guys? Amazon company took that source code and created their own OS called as a Amazon Linux OS. Amazon Linux OS. The same way Red Hat Inc. Which company, guys? Red Hat Inc. took that source code and created their own voice called as a Fedora, CentOS, Red Hat. What is this? So these are the three OSs are defined. So what is the a flavor of the OS? Something like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The present version is 9. So same like as a Oracle Linux and Amazon Linux also, both are monkey to monkey are a copy from the Red Hat. So Red Hat. Guys, understood. So if you learn this OS, if you learn Red Hat OS, it will be easily to understand the Amazon and Oracle Linux only. Whatever the commands we are executing the CentOS or Red Hat or Fedora, the same commands will be executed on the Amazon Linux also. The same commands will be executed on the Amazon Linux also. Guys, understood? So C Linux, Ubuntu Linux, Debian company. So Debian company took that source code and created their own voice called as a Ubuntu. What is that? Ubuntu OS. The same like as a SUSE, SUSE Linux and FreeBSD. What is that, guys? FreeBSD Linux, BSD and Kali Linux, Rocky Linux, Kali Linux and Rocky Linux. So these all are the Linux flavors, guys. So in this course, so what we will learn? So we will learn so these guys. So we will learn CentOS, Red Hat, Fedora. So we are installing CentOS is the freeware. So we are installing CentOS 9. We are installing the CentOS 9 on our mission. So we are working on the CentOS Red Hat. It will be very easy, guys. So all the flavors of the Linux, the core command should be same. So it should be different from the naming convention. The functionality should be same, guys. The functional should be same, but the difference is only the naming convention. Okay. So now we understood the which Linux OS we are installing, right?